And we're back with TSPN.
We are, and we're going to be talking about the board meeting, which had a huge subject of Wild and Scenic.
That's right. It was a special board meeting on tax day, maybe appropriately, of the Board of Supervisors to discuss legislation proposed in our California legislature by Senator Lonnie Hancock, a legislator out of Oakland.
Okay.
And I think that's Alameda County, but Senate Bill 1199, which would propose state wild and scenic designation status on the Mokelumne River.
And so what does that mean?
It goes, and it would change the Public Resources Code. There's two sections there. I'm not going to read them off. But
Public resources meaning water?
Public resources take into account a lot more than water, but this is the water section of the Public Resources Code and what it means about wild and scenic status. Well, there's a federal designation and a state for wild and scenic. Federal is much more restrictive than the state. Basically, you can't do anything from the shoreline to a quarter mile off the shoreline. State is only 200 feet.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
There are many other differences. The state would be controlled or under the direction of the Secretary of Resources of the state of California. So the federal would be, I think, Department of the Interior, and the other, whether it's BLM or U.S. Forest Service, they would be the controlling parties that would have a lot to say.
And 1199 is strictly state.
This one is, it's been gutted and amended with the language to make the wild and scenic status go on for the state for Mokelumne River.
Okay.
The thing is, there could have been language inserted here if there was negotiation that said, yes, we will allow state status, but we will never go after federal wild and scenic status. The problem with that is, okay, so we negotiate that with the Foothill Conservancy and the Friends of the River. There's always other parties that can come in and ask the governor, hey, look, it's got state, we want federal on this, and the governor is the one who makes that decision to ask Congress to make that legislative.
Wow. So now, the Mokelumne River, we're talking like from where to where for this particular bill?
Basically talking from Salt Springs Dam, with the way the Foothill Conservancy's proposal would be from Salt Springs Dams all the way down to the confluence of Pardee Reservoir.
Got it.
So East Bay Mud representatives were at our meeting. I can tell you I don't think staff are in favor of that because they want to leave the option open that if someday they want to pursue raising Pardee, they have that option. I'm not sure what their board's going to do, and they don't know what their board's going to do. Because the board has changed significantly over the year, the East Bay board. Now you have people on there that are a lot more moderate to liberal, and their viewpoints have changed. That's the way boards go. But that decision, East Bay was waiting for us to make our decision in Amador County whether we support this designation or not.
Okay.
There are a number of things. You know, on the pro side, Foothill Conservancy pointed out, look, we want to keep this wild and scenic natural forever. We want it so people can enjoy it. We want to take the threat away of it ever being taken over by, or ever having proposals, and Catherine Ever did point out there have been, I think, at least 5 proposals in the past to affect segments of the river. Devil's Nose Project, 2 on the upper middle bar, 1 on the lower middle bar, and then the proposal in 2009, which our board opposed, to raise Pardee. Well, our feeling is, look, if somebody comes in and wants to affect the river, we have the ability to go oppose it.
But does it matter if we support it or not? Can't they march forward regardless?
It does matter because our board has a significant part. Calaveras County Board voted 5-0 to support this. Our board voted 5-0 to oppose it. And if you look at their resolution they put together, I think it's just ridiculous, certain parts of it. But that, you know what, they're a governmental body. We went 5-0 against, they went 5-0 pro. On the opposition side, and you know, this could last a half an hour, but on the opposition side, we feel, and some of the speakers felt, and they have a vast experience in this, that if you put maybe cattle grazing would be restricted because it could have an impact on water quality. Any timber harvesting could be restricted because of impacts like water quality. That's a big issue for East Bay Mud too, the water quality. if the Secretary of Resources decides that in California, do you think they might decide that, look, we're not going to allow cattle grazing or timber harvesting or some of the other uses there? By the way, Dana Jorgensen, the rep for Senator Berryhill, and Assemblyman Bigelow did say that Chris Wright from Calaveras County Supervisor asked Senator Berryhill to pursue this in legislation. Senator Berryhill said on the floor of the Senate, Senator Lonnie Hancock, who's carrying SB 1199, came to him and said, "You want to co-sponsor this with me?" She already had a bill written.
Right.
So he felt he was backdoored on this thing.
Sure.
So our board just went 5-0. We're going to oppose this and oppose it strongly at the California legislature.
Well, it sounds like this could be a really big debate. Maybe TSPN could put together a half-hour segment or so just to talk about the issues so that our county can understand the pros and cons. But for now, we do need to take a break, so stay with us. Wow.
You're watching Amador County's local television network, TSPN.